Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. This time, we're going to be exploring the ancient wisdom of the Stoics.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, it really is. Our main source for this deep dive
Oh,
is
great.
a 1908 compilation of writings by
Okay.
Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius.
Hmm.
I know, right? Pretty cool. Imagine their words echoing across like centuries,
Wow.
still offering guidance for life today.
It really speaks to the enduring power of their ideas.
Yeah,
I mean, it's amazing that after all this time, people are still turning to Stoicism
right.
to figure out, how to deal with challenges and
Exactly.
find meaning in life.
It's like they knew some
Right.
universal truth about being human.
I think so.
And what I think is really interesting is that these three guys, these three Stoics,
Yeah.
came from such different backgrounds.
That's true.
We have like a wealthy Roman statesman,
Okay.
a former slave who became like this really famous teacher, and then an emperor.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's kind of wild to think about.
Yet, you'd think their views would clash, but they all found something in Stoicism
Right.
that really resonated with them.
Yeah, it's like, they had such different lives, but
Yeah.
they all sort of tapped
I
into
think they did.
this like shared human experience.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like the struggle to find peace and
Yeah, definitely. We all struggle with that.
yeah, and just like purpose in life
For sure.
amidst all the ups and downs.
Absolutely.
Speaking of struggles, I gotta admit, when I first heard about Stoicism,
Yeah.
I had this picture in my head of these guys just like passively accepting everything that happened to them.
Right.
Like, oh, well, my house burned down.
It's fate.
Yeah, exactly. Just like it's fate, whatever.
Right.
But from reading this compilation,
Yeah.
that's not what it's about at all.
No, it's not about apathy at all.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
about recognizing that, yeah, we can't control everything that happens to us,
Right,
but we can control
right.
how we respond. And that's where their focus on what's in our control comes in.
Okay.
It's not about just giving up.
Right.
It's about really focusing your energy where it truly matters.
Okay, so it's more about choosing to focus on your own actions and
Uh-huh.
reactions rather than
Exactly.
getting caught up in the things you can't change.
The chaos of things you can't change.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Stoics believed that by focusing on what we can control,
Okay.
like our thoughts,
Uh-huh.
our choices, our responses,
Okay.
we can cultivate this, like inner peace.
Inner peace.
Yeah, and even find opportunities for growth even when things are tough.
Even in the middle of adversity.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, that's what I find so interesting about Seneca.
Yeah.
He was living in the middle of Roman politics,
Oh, I know.
surrounded by like craziness,
Yeah.
drama, and power struggles.
Uh-huh.
And yet he still managed to like find a way to navigate that
He found a way to stay calm.
and maintain a sense of inner peace.
It's really amazing.
Yeah.
He understood that true happiness didn't come from external validation
Yeah.
or
We're still
material possessions. He even wrote, if what you have seems insufficient to you, then though you possess the world, you will yet be miserable.
Oh, I know, right?
It's like he's speaking directly to us.
I think he is.
Our obsession with stuff and
Yeah.
social media status and all that.
Totally. He's reminding us that lasting fulfillment comes from inside,
Right.
from aligning our actions with our values
Mhm.
and finding contentment in living virtuously.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, so focusing on what we can control is key. But what about this living in accordance with nature thing?
Right.
Sounds a little
It is a bit vague.
vague.
Yeah, at first.
Yeah.
But for the Stoics, it wasn't just about,
Okay.
taking a hike in the woods or something.
Right. They believed in a rational order to the universe,
Okay.
kind of like a divine reason.
Okay.
They called logos.
Logos.
Mhm.
So living in accordance with nature means
Yeah.
understanding and accepting this universal order.
Exactly.
Even the tough parts,
Yeah.
like our own mortality.
Exactly. It's not about
Oh.
passive resignation.
Right.
It's about recognizing that
Yeah.
we're part of something bigger
Mm-hmm.
and that our lives are finite.
Right.
And this awareness, they believed, could free us from a lot of unnecessary fear and anxiety.
Because if death is just a natural part of life,
Exactly.
then why waste energy fearing it?
That's the question.
Yeah, better to focus on
Right.
living well
Yes.
in the present.
That's the essence of it.
Okay.
And this acceptance of, the natural order, including death,
Yeah.
is closely tied to their emphasis on virtue.
Okay, so it wasn't just about being a good person.
It was about embodying wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance.
Those were like the important things.
Yeah, the qualities that aligned with the logos.
They saw that as a way to
Yeah.
sort of like harmonize with the universe.
Yes, I love that. It's like tuning yourself to the right frequency.
Yeah, that's a nice way to put it.
Yeah, and that brings us to the heart of Stoicism.
Okay.
The idea that true happiness comes from within, from living a life
Yeah.
guided by reason and virtue.
It's just so interesting how these ideas from so long ago still like resonate with us today. It's like they offer a roadmap
For roadmap, yeah.
for how to live in this
Exactly.
crazy world.
The complexities of modern life, yeah.
Yeah. But how did these principles actually like play out in their lives? Did they just like walk around calmly accepting everything?
I think that's where the real magic is.
Okay.
Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotions.
Okay.
It's about using reason to understand and manage them. And the Stoics had a lot to say about dealing with some of the tougher parts of life.
Okay, let's get into that. What kind of wisdom did they offer for dealing with adversity?
Well, remember Seneca
Yeah.
and his crazy life in Roman politics? He had a really insightful perspective on dealing with challenges.
Okay.
He wrote, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end.
Whoa. That's deep.
I know, right?
It's like he's saying that even when things fell apart,
Yes.
it can also be
It can be
an opportunity for something new.
Yeah, exactly. The Stoics believed that even when faced with adversity, we still have the power to choose how we respond.
Right.
And that choice can really make all the difference.
It determines whether we like crumble or rise above. Like that famous quote, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters.
Yes, exactly. And there's this great story in the compilation about this philosopher Stilpo.
Stilpo. Remind me about him.
Oh, after his city was captured and plundered, someone asked him what he had lost.
Oh, wow.
And he said, nothing, for I had all that I could call my own about me.
Meaning his inner virtue.
Yes, exactly.
Wow. So even when everything around him was literally like falling apart, he found strength in what couldn't be taken away.
Exactly.
His character.
Yeah.
That's a powerful mindset.
It is. It really highlights that Stoic belief that true strength lies not in external possessions, but in our inner fortitude. And this inner strength becomes even more important when facing another challenge.
Which is?
Anger.
Ah, yes, the green-eyed monster.
I was going to say, the green-eyed monster.
I bet the Stoics had some thoughts on that.
Oh, they did, especially Seneca.
Okay.
He called anger a short madness and saw it as this, like, destructive force that clouds our judgment.
Makes sense.
And leads to, like, rash actions.
Yeah, how many times have we all said or done something in the heat of the moment and then later regretted it?
Totally. The Stoics believe that by understanding the true nature of anger, we could learn to manage it better. Instead of letting it control us, we could choose a more reasoned response.
Did they have any, like, tips for how to actually do that?
They did.
Okay.
Because, it's easier said than done.
Right. Staying calm when someone cuts you off in traffic or sends you a passive-aggressive email.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
Well, there's this great story about Philip of Macedon.
Philip of Macedon.
Yeah, Alexander the Great's father.
Okay.
This Athenian ambassador was trying to, like, provoke him.
Okay.
And basically told him to hang himself.
Oh, wow.
I know, right?
I'm guessing he wasn't too pleased.
You'd think so, right?
Yeah.
But instead of getting angry,
Philip
was just calmly replied.
What did he say?
It is worse to speak such things than to hear and forgive them.
Wow, he really took the high road.
He did. It's like he turned the insult back on the ambassador.
Right.
Highlighting his own lack of virtue.
That's a good strategy.
It's a perfect example of how the Stoics advocated for responding to provocation with reason and justice.
Even when it's, like, personal?
Even when it feels personal?
Yeah.
Yeah. They believed that by not reacting with anger, we can maintain our own inner peace and maybe even influence the other person.
I like that.
Yeah. It's like that saying.
What is it?
You can't control the wind, but you can adjust your sails.
I like that.
The Stoics are basically saying you can't control other people's actions.
Right.
But you can control your own reactions.
That makes sense.
And this focus on self-control and a reasoned response ties into another key aspect of Stoicism.
Which is?
Self-awareness and self-improvement.
Oh, okay. Self-awareness.
They believed in constantly striving to become better versions of ourselves.
Like that growth mindset.
Yeah, exactly. Like that growth mindset, always learning.
Yeah.
Always evolving.
But how did they approach self-improvement?
Well, Seneca was really big on daily self-reflection.
What do you mean?
He'd examine his actions at the end of each day.
Okay.
And analyze what he did well, where he fell short, and then resolve to do better the next day.
It's like a performance review for your soul.
That's a great way to put it.
Without the awkwardness of your boss.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But seriously, this practice helped him identify areas where he could grow and align his actions more closely with his values.
It sounds like a simple but powerful habit.
It is.
Did the other Stoics have any similar practices?
Yeah, Epictetus emphasized looking at our motivations and our responses to every situation.
Right.
He wrote, "Upon every accident, remember to turn towards yourself and inquire what powers you have for making a proper use of it."
So even setbacks can be opportunities for growth.
Exactly. It's about shifting our perspective. And asking, how can I use this experience to become stronger, wiser, more virtuous?
I see. And Seneca had that great line about knowing yourself.
Oh, yeah.
He that would perfectly know himself, let him set aside his money, his fortune, his dignity, and examine himself naked.
Wow.
He's not messing around.
He's not. He's challenging us to strip away all the external stuff.
Right, all the possessions.
The status, the roles we play, and really look inward.
To see who we really are.
Exactly. What are our core values? What truly motivates us? What kind of person do we want to be?
It's like taking a deep dive into your own soul.
I love that.
And in a world where we're constantly bombarded with distractions,
yeah, totally.
That kind of inner exploration just feels more important than ever.
Absolutely. And perhaps the most profound area where the Stoics applied their philosophy was in dealing with death.
Okay, now this should be interesting.
It is.
We tend to avoid talking about death, but I'm guessing the Stoics had a different perspective.
They did. They saw death not as something to be feared, but as a natural part of life.
Like a transition.
Exactly. A transition we all must face.
Okay.
Epictetus had this famous analogy where he compared life to a feast. He said we should take what is offered with moderation, not cling to what is gone, and wait patiently for what is to come.
It's a nice analogy.
It is. It encourages us to savor each moment without getting too attached to the past or anxious about the future.
I like that.
And Marcus Aurelius, when he was facing his own mortality as emperor, he wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one."
It's like he's saying, just live your values.
Yes.
Don't wait for the perfect moment. Time to act as now.
Right. And that focus on living virtuously in the present moment ties into another fascinating aspect of Stoicism.
Oh, okay. Tell me more.
Their view of our social nature as humans.
Oh, so they weren't all about, like, solitary contemplation and just, like, inner peace.
They recognize that we're social creatures.
Right. We need connection.
We thrive on it. Connection, contributing to something bigger than ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, even the most introverted person wants to feel like they belong.
Exactly. A sense of belonging and purpose.
Right.
And for the Stoics, this social aspect was really tied to their emphasis on virtue.
Oh.
Remember how we talked about justice as one of their core virtues? It wasn't just about being a good person on your own.
Right.
It was about creating a just and harmonious society.
So being a good citizen, working towards the common good.
Exactly. It's about recognizing our interconnectedness, our shared humanity.
I like that.
It's about using our reason and our virtue to make a positive impact.
I mean, it's amazing how this philosophy from so long ago still feels so relevant today.
Yeah.
Like they understood something timeless.
I think they did.
About what it means to be human.
Yeah, and I think that's why we're seeing so much interest in Stoicism these days.
It makes sense.
People are looking for guidance in a world that feels so complex and uncertain.
Yeah, and Stoicism offers this practical framework for finding peace and living a meaningful life.
And for building resilience, too.
Yeah, exactly. Like a toolkit for the soul.
I like that.
So, okay, we talked about the core principles, focusing on what we can control, living in accordance with nature, embracing virtue, recognizing our social nature.
A lot to take in.
It is, but what does it all mean, like, for us?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And ultimately, it's up to each person to figure out how to apply it.
Right.
But if you're interested in learning more, I definitely encourage you to dive deeper into their writings.
This 1908 compilation is a great place to start.
It is.
It's like a greatest hits album of Stoic wisdom.
That's a great way to put it.
And as you explore these ideas, think about how they connect to your own life.
Right. Think about how you can practice focusing on what's in your control. How can you connect more deeply with the natural world?
Okay.
How can you live out those virtues in your everyday life?
Maybe try Seneca's nightly self-reflection.
That's a good one.
Or, like, reframe a challenge as an opportunity for growth, like Epictetus said.
Yeah, there are so many possibilities.
So many.
Here's a final thought to leave you with.
Okay.
The Stoics believed we all have this spark of the divine inside us.
Okay.
This ability for reason and virtue that connects us to something bigger. How might recognizing this spark change how you approach your life?
That's a really great question to think about.
It is.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Stoicism.
My pleasure.
We hope you found some wisdom to take with you.
Yes, something to ponder.
And maybe even apply to your own life.
Absolutely.
Until next time, keep seeking, keep questioning,
and keep exploring.
We'll see you then.